kepada anak-anak muda. Dan saat ini ada hal yang saya harus sampaikan kepada kita mungkin bagi mereka yang adalah orang muda yang sedang mengikuti pelajaran ini. Gunakan pelajaran ini sebagai sarana untuk mengerti apa yang Yesus mau Anda lakukan terhadap orang lain dan bagaimana cara menjangkau orang lain untuk Yesus. Apabila Anda adalah orang dewasa yang sedang mengikuti pelajaran ini, biarlah pelajaran ini dapat membantu Anda untuk mengerti apa yang Yesus mau Anda lakukan terhadap orang muda dan bagaimana cara untuk menjangkau mereka, menjangkau anak-anak muda yang ada dalam gereja atau jemaat Anda bagi Yesus. Dan pelajaran kita pada saat ini
in their faith. Some of my division countries also the similar situation to be aging society. That's why now, how can we keep our church young? This is the one of the biggest challenge to each one of us. That's why now I'd like to introduce some, the phenomenon. The number one is the low birth rate and aging. In our division, one country name is Taiwan. This is, the Taiwan's aging population. You see here, so according to the report, the Taiwan government got and reached the highest, the population was 2015. Since then, every year, about 180,000 people, decreased the people power. Every year decrease. And then, so the Taiwan government, how long will it take from aging society to the aged society? 25 years. 1993, they started the aging society. And then 2017, they entered the aged society. And then after 8 years, they will start the post-aged society. Another meaning is the super-aged society. And this is very, the crucial analyze. And then how about the Japan? You see here, the female and male, gender, and each, the generation, you can see. And then you see here, the one over, the phenomenon. So inverted pyramid, the phenomenon. The younger generation, they do not have the population enoughly. So, just decrease. If you see the young generation. But this is, the very, very serious in Japan. And according to the global, the population, and then how, the country is high rank. 2015 here, the number one country is Japan. Is the very the percentage of the aged society already they started, and then 2050 you see here top rank in our division Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan. This country will occupy the top rank of aged society. And then how about the country? I am belonging to South Korea. This is, the birth ratio in Korea. South Korea's childbirth tally. Every year, you see here, this, the graphic is how many children are birthed. 445,000 a year, the 12 years ago, 2009. But now, 2019, how about only 300,000 babies are birthed. And then the ratio is, just less than the one. One family, they do not have, the average one baby, 0.92. This is a very serious, the statistic number. And then the over 65, the old people in Korea. So you see here, from 1970 to 2025, the graphic, and it's a very, the crucial, very, very serious. Over 70% of 65 years old among whole population, we can call aging society. 14% over 65, we can call aged. And 20% over post-aged or aged society. How about the Korea? Last 18 years, we started from 2000 to 2018, aging society. And since 2018, we already, entered the aged society. After 8 years, we will enter post-aged society. And then now, I will give you, so I try to compare my country society condition and my church condition. Here, 1998, the society, 7% of aging people. But after 20 years, 2018, the population, the percentage is 14.3%. However, Korean Union Conference, 1998, already 12%. Just you may, compare between society and Korean Union Conference. My church condition, the society aging, but my church already, started aged. After 20 years, society aged, but my church here, the population, the church members already over 27%, post-aged. This is very serious. Also, you can easily compare what's the problem of my country. So, why do the youth leave the church? This is one of, the social phenomenon. So, according to the Dr. Roger Dudley, very well, the professor, he was teaching at the Andrews University. He conducted a study for 16 years of young people who left the church. And moreover, he had done a follow-up, 10-year long study of 1,500 youth who left the church. So his findings were published in the book, Why Our Teenagers Leave the Church. And it is roughly classified into 6 categories. The reasons we can find. Number 1, their feeling is alienate when they come to the church. Nobody share the greetings and welcome to them. That's why their feeling was so uncomfortable, so we are alien. Their feelings were alienated. Second, not feeling the necessity of religious life. This is one of the social phenomenon. How about our church? Our church condition and situation is very, very similar with the social, the problem. The number three, according to the Dr. Roger Dudley, their feeling is uncomfortable with the rules that are set in as the A. Next, affected by the social no religion trend. Yes. When we look back and look around this world, the trend is no religion. They reject all, the youngster and young, people. They don't like to believe the Christianity. And number five, affected by social anti-Christian mindset. So every moment we have facing many, the problem through the news broadcast. How Christian do that? How are you Christian? So if you Christian, I don't like to go to follow you like that. And number six, disappointment at the church that becomes disgraceful. So, the relationship between church members and church members. Sometimes argue, sometimes bother, sometimes, jealous. So young people, they watch, oh, is it true, church members? They don't like. They don't have this grateful. This is our reality. That's why I suggest you. What is the keyword for young movement? Continually, the Dr. Dudley says that the reason for living and staying away from the church is what? Not doctrinal issue, but relational issue. This is very, very important. If you really want to make a church young in this aging society or another in these last days, how can we keep our church young? Please, if you have, your young people in your church, why they, leave the church is not because of a doctrinal issue, but because of what? Relationship. That's why you may, the widely welcome and may give your, heart and warm heart to your young people. This is very, very important. Another, the book, the David Kinnaman, who says that, Dropout says that we did not leave the church, but let the church left us. This is very, the paradox, the sentence. We did not leave from the church. The church left us. How about your opinion upon this the message? Now, I shared with you that if society develops, what happened in the society as well as church, we should recognize the social phenomenon. Low fertility and population aging society used to leave the church, and religion becomes more retrograded. But it's not all. Therefore, I would like to introduce some outstanding results in youth ministry in my division. Hopefully, I think it is necessary to implement and expand these cases in your church, in your society. The number one, I want to introduce one team. The name is Campus Mission. This team is belonging to one local conference in Korea, the EC, East Central Korea Conference. The team name is Campus Mission. The main task of this team is to organize ambassador club in the local church. they devoted 1 year for their 20 generation life as a tithe of their life for the Lord. This is very, very empower and impact to the local church. This is how they did for last 10 years. So they have conducted evangelism meeting, and they had also, the meaningful fruit, the baptism number, and trained youth, and trained other leaders in the church. Wow! So I cannot, to explain everything, but just you may, think about through this, the status. And next team, the name is SOS Mission Team. This team also is belonging to one of the local conference, SEKC, Southeast Korean Conference. SOS meaning is Salvation Only Service. This team, the main target is for middle and high school students, and they never hesitate to go out to meet young people. They used to dedicate on their summer and winter vacation for evangelistic cities and activity. Very, very powerful and useful their activity. This is their status, what they did do last more than 5 years. And next one, Youth. This the activity is belonging to Japan Union Conference. As we know well that, Japan Union Conference Youth Department reported us the young people is not many. However, their activity is very useful and meaningful and powerful. So they organized, the youth rush, the activity every the spring vacation and summer vacation. They recruited the young people, and then they trained and they nurture and they send and they went to the certain place. And this is one of the picture to train for door to door and knock to door, and practice 2 by 2 how to pursue the church book, Spirit of Prophecy books. They introduce, and when they try to knock, and somebody who respond, and they introduce the book, and then they also check, do you believe God? And another, they prepare the certain the question. So go forward and seeking and knocking and finding and praying. Prayer is best power to go out this special mission. Last, the few years, how they did do, so it was so, incredible result they reported us. You see here. The last, I'd like to introduce one of, the activity. This is PCM movement. PCM movement is public campus ministry. In my division, we have a lot of, the university and college, and one university campus, if we visit, we can find a lot of, young people, and then we cannot find how many, the Seventh-day Adventist young people. Sometimes more than 10,000, students are studying in the campus, but we cannot find any single, SDA. That's why, our division had the initiative to dispatch the missionaries, the student missionaries. Last 3 years, we dispatched about 40 missionaries from 8 different countries. They joined, and we dispatched, the 40 student missionaries. Their main activities, language class, the cooking class, and evangelism meeting in the campus. And they provide the special loving lunch box and small care group and some camp meeting. And the last one is the baptism ceremony. It was so, the tremendous activities. This is, the Taiwan PCM, first, second, and third batch missionaries. This is a language class. This is a Korean cooking class. This is a campus evangelism meeting photos. and they provide the loving lunchbox during the middle term examination, period, or, the final examination. Students are scared and very nervous and very, the sensitive. At the moment, they try to approach to them, and then they try to give, they pray for them, and they distribute the special lunch, loving lunchbox. And then through this activity, finally, they invite to have a baptism ceremony. So last 3 years, through 40, the campus, the missionaries who led this kind of baptism ceremony, we got, very precious fruit through PCM missionaries. We can, introduce, the gospel of the young people through PCM activity. That's why now, I will strongly suggest what is the young movement, how to make church young in the aging society. Young movement is one of, acronym. So the number one, the young movement, Y is yield to youth. Create youth-led churches. Here, so you can see, the last the GC session, San Antonio, how many delegates were attending and which ages, each age groups attended this GC session. And then the other, the column is my country union conference session, the last 2015. So you can, compare the over 70 and 60 to 69 and 50 to 59 and 40 to 49. Especially the last, the bottom, the column under 30 ages, just the GC session, only 6% attended as the delegates. And how about the Korean Union Conference? Less than 1%, 0.7% attended as a representative of union session. That's why we may think about how we can make young church in this last day or aging society. We should give some key. We should, some authority to our young people. Sometimes we misunderstand how young people can, conduct the church. How can they join the, church, the administration? But if you can train and nurture them, and they will be equipped by senior and leadership, they will be growing up. That's why you may give to yield for our young people. This is a young movement, number one, why. The second one, young movement, the O is organization building. Establish specialized agencies for youth ministry. So from general conference and division and even union, we need to organize the special, institute to study our teenager and post-modernism, the generation, how we can spread this gospel effectively for our young people. So without study, how can we get the efficient the result? Very, very difficult. We're now living, the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. So we should study continually about, the on and offline, the together, two track. Please, organization and building, establish specialized agents for youth ministry. Number three, young movement. You upgrade mission system. Fix up lifetime missionary from childhood to, the senior. So we can, make many, the missionary movement during each generation, childhood, teenager, and 20 generation, and 30, 40 generation, we can the build up the many the mission system. In my division, we have various the missionary activity. You see here the 1,000 1-year mission, Youth Leadership, PCM, Golden Angels, SOS, Always Missionary, Compass, and as campus mission. So now we are emphasizing, I will go. Who will go for us? We have a lot of, the mission project. Please remember, if we train our young people as a missionary life, we never leave from the church. Yes, I can strongly suggest, I can strongly emphasize about the young people who can become the missionary life. They will continually serve for our church. They will keep and they will serve for our next church. That's why, please, you may develop your idea how to organize missionary movement in your society, in your church, in your area. If the young people who join this missionary movement, they will retain our church as our church leader. I will strongly pursue this the missionary movement. The next one, the young movement and networking with the global church. This is our youth department, the logo. Here we can divide the junior and senior the ministry. And sometimes if I visit each country in our division, sometimes I can feel uncomfortable because the gap is too big. Some country still they don't know what is the standard of our global church, the activity. They do not have. That's why it's my also responsibility. That's why I strongly suggest that the networking with the global church, we should emphasize what is the standard, and then we can make church young in this aging society. The last one, the young movement, the last one, G, is generation connecting. Learning a strategy to keep the rabbit home. Sometimes we are considering how to, lead the young people or other people from outside to inside. How about the inside? In my house, we do not recognize where are my children, my babies. We only concentrate to make focusing outside. However, in the church, we should keep personally in the young people in the church, in the home. After that, we should think about the outside, outgoing. In order to make this happen, home worship activation strategy we should develop. We should develop home worship activation strategy. And then strengthening parent education. How to teach our young people. How to train our children. We should provide the strengthening parent education for our young generation. And then, this is my suggestion. Reorganize, evangelize program in youth. Reorganization, the evangelism program for our young people. So without the training and program, not easy. Even though we can, lead many people from outside, but suddenly they will disappear from in the church. You know why? Because every moment our focus is not for inside, but for outside. Every moment. That's why we should, need to train. We need the discipleship program in the church and outside. We should make, continually to track, to make balance, to track outside and inside together, work together, and train together for not only for outside, but also for inside too. I hope in this, the short my presentation, I want to, suggest you, so you may, catch some insight and some idea through this presentation. This is my conclusion. Please do not get caught up in the statistical data. Yes, our church is the not biggest church among the world. Sometimes if we compare some number and some size and some, the power with the outside, we easily lose our, the hope. But now, what matter is how we do it. We should do our best to keep our young people, and then how to make church young every moment you may think about. That's why if you do not lose your hope, we can, to change some our from impossible to possible. This is a very, very interesting suggestion. It is not impossible to make an old church grow young and get more active again. Please, you may loudly shout it. We can do it. It is possible. Please, no matter what you do, so you may think about we can do. Work together, pray together, train together, and nurture together. And then our church will be more healthy and more young. Please, this is my prayer and my suggestion. The last quotation, Ellen G. White says, through the Child Guidance 457, Satan is controlling the minds of the young, and we must work resolutely and faithfully to save them. Yes, Satan is trying to control the minds of young people. However, we must work resolutely and faithfully to save our young people here and there. That's why Prophet Isaiah chapter 6 verse 8, he says, "Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" Please, let us say, "Here am I, send me. I will go." Yes. Let us go forward and let us move forward to make church young in this aging society. May God bless all of you. Thank you.